All right, hey guys, what's going on? It's Intelligent Cycle here, back with another game, NBA Finals Game 6 recap for you. And I'm going to recap between Game 6 between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers. Game 6 recap. So the Pacers absolutely dominated the entire game. Sorry about that. All right, so what's going on, guys? So yeah, the Indiana Pacers absolutely dominated this game. They won by the score of 108 to 91. They was up by at least mostly 30 points heading towards the end of the third quarter. The Pacers bench outscored the Thunder's bench for the entire game. At least I believe the score was like 31 to like 13. They was absolutely just dominant. TJ McConnell setting the energy for them. The question also was bestowed upon was if Tyrese Halliburton was going to play. He was a game time decision, and he didn't. His calf strain did not really bother him. Seemed like in the entire game because he was absolutely just dominant from the field. He had a really good performance. He was able to get off at the 3-point line on the left corner, which he'd been having trouble throughout the entire series. His ability to get towards the rim as well, to finish at the cup, his defense, his tenacity, getting in the passing lanes, disrupting plays, and able to get steals, and was just an absolute tenacious force, man. And salute to him because he had a lot of question marks whether he was gonna play and show up or whether he was gonna ball out or whether that calf injury was gonna bother him. But it didn't seem like it was bothering him whatsoever, and I'm really proud of the way he gave out the performance that he did. Obi Toppin had a 20-point game. He was 6 of 12 from the field. He was able to get towards the basket. He was able to do his thing. Miles Turner did not really have that solid of a game, but he was able to get a couple of block shots on Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein. He was able to have a little bit of impact defensively. But TJ McConnell was a story, and as well as Pascal Siakam and Andrew Nembhard. Nembhard hit a couple early big three-pointers that they started off the game 0 for 8 from the field. You know, you was thinking that, can the Pacers find some way to like continue to put the onus and put the team on his back and really drive home this win? Either because they screwed up in game 4 in the last 3 minutes, and then Oklahoma City pretty much in the second half, whether the Pacers was weathering the storm and trying to put together a little bit of stops. I think that's just kind of forsaken. Just put it into perspective and put it into so much weight because the Thunder was trying to defend home court on their end. But in Game 6, the Pacers, although the field goal percentage, they shot well in the first half and they was up by at least 22 points. But in the second half, both teams was kind of having poor shot selection and really didn't and was kind of bothered and hemmed on the sheer fact that both teams didn't create a lot of good shots to start out early in the third quarter, because I think both was exhausted for the amount of hellaciousness that they gave in the first half and the amount of poor ball security that Oklahoma City had throughout Game 6. They completely laid a flat egg. But the Pacers was able to execute. They forced 21 turnovers, and I think they scored like 23 points off of those 21 turnovers. And it made them come back very, very much impossible. And it's uncharacteristic from OKC's disadvantage, because OKC is not a team that turns the ball over like that. But what happened was the Pacers was swarming around on OKC shooters, and they was daring people other than Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and Jalen Williams to score. They was daring them to score, and they just could not find any other ways to figure it out. But I felt like in Game 5 and Game 4, because they wasn't getting out to Aaron Wiggins and Casey Wallace, they was able to hit a lot of open three-pointers. This time around, I feel like they got to the open man, and they was able to swarm in the passing lanes, and they was able to get out in transition and play their style of game, which is like up-tempo, fast-paced style for them, and it really just boiled down to it. Just put it themselves at an early advantage for Game 7. But for OKC, knowing that the Pacers was not gonna lie down, they were desperate. They was gonna protect home court no matter what. They had to win this game because of the amount of screw-ups that they did in Games 4 and Game 5 down the stretch, and poor and turnovers, and they did exactly defensively what OKC was doing to them in the last couple of games. And defensively, they've been working on trying to get turnovers to get out and play their pace for the entire point of the year. So it just kind of just show its head around in this game. So I really thought that they did well. Oh, True, and let me look at the comments real quick. Oh, True Angel 33, what's going on? Yeah, I'm gonna still roll with the Pacers. I'm gonna still roll with the Pacers. But again, I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised at all if OKC defense on court wins Game 7, because they're gonna have a lot of advantages with the crowd behind them. Shea and Jalen Williams noted that they didn't play well at all in this game, and he was kind of forcing everybody else on the OKC Thunder bench and in their starting lineup to beat them. That's what the Pacers was doing. So I figured like they're gonna play a lot better in Game 7. But at the same time, you never know. It could be a slugfest. It could be an ugly grudge match. You can never know what's gonna happen to it. And yeah, and like I was just explaining, too many turnovers did cost them in this one. They really put the focus and was hell bent on having in the comeback and trailing from behind. But the surprising thing was the fact that the amount of turnovers and the amount of poor shot selection, because you rarely see OKC do that, especially throughout these finals. But the last time we seen this was against the Denver Nuggets in Game 3, and also in Game 1 down the stretch where they lost it, where Aaron Gordon hit the game-winning shot at the buzzer over Jalen Williams and Lou Dort in Game 1. So that kind of was the last time we saw the Thunder with their backs against the wall. But this time, with both teams' backs against the wall, championship on the line, Game 7, you never know what could happen. It could be like I said, it could be a slugfest. It could be anything. It could be anything that could happen. Anything or he says goes. Officiating could get involved. Both teams could be sloppy early on in the game. This could be a low-scoring game. Both defenses could get up in each other's face and force a lot of tough contested shots. So you never know. But for me, I really was happy that the Pacers didn't lie down. They didn't really let the crowd, let the nervousness, let the desperation get to them, and basically fuel and energize and motivated them. You didn't want to see nobody, a road team. You didn't want to see any road team celebrating on your home court, parading and on your home court. That's just not right. That just wasn't going to sit well with them. But overall, I think that the Pacers, knowing that they feeling good, they got this energy going for them. They got this road. This animosity, this tenacity, this feeling, this belief factor, that knowing that they can go in there in OKC and win it, knowing because of what happened in Game 1 and the Tyrese Halliburton clutch shot at the with 3 seconds remaining. I really feel like that somehow, some way, both teams, and as great as this series has been, and really as competitive as this series has been, one team is gonna go home a loser. One is gonna establish their legacy and forever run on. So that would be the main thing that will come out as a sad part for one of these squads. So it's been an entertaining finals, and I can't wait to see what's gonna happen in Game 7. But as far as the Pacers is concerned, what both teams can build off of and what both can learn from, the Pacers, they got to come out and set the tone, get involved in the paint, get involved attacking the basket, draw contact, going to the free throw line, do anything they can to get some distance from them. And yeah, we did not see OKC's ferocious defense getting after them and attacking them, but at the same time, we overall did not see that swarming OKC defense that was very much impactful throughout the entire year, and why it was number one in defensive efficiency and forced turnovers on on their side of the ball, which turned into their offense. We didn't see that happening for them. Chet Holmgren was kind of a liability. Isaiah Hartenstein earlier in the game hit a few couple of hook shots, but he really after a while got into foul trouble and wasn't really as much of a factor as you would have thought. And that big body presence that OKC is made the rotational lineup change and switched off wasn't really a big factor in this one because they really just showed the Pacers really just show you that they're not a team. And I really think I need a lot of people to stop saying that the Pacers are just this big of an underdog because what they have proven to you guys and what they've proven to me and what they've proven to the whole entire NBA that they're no longer underdogs, man. They are a team that's, out there. They're trying to hoist that finals trophy, man. They're trying to get that they're trying to host that NBA championship trophy and parade back into Naptown, back in the home of Indianapolis. So they want to try to get this. They want to try to get this cup. They want to try to get this chip, and really salvage and be forced and be with the moment. So I cannot wait to see what's gonna happen. And Oklahoma City, what they're gonna build off of is they gotta build off of the fact that you're not gonna have no kind of game where you're gonna have over 20 turnovers again. They gotta build off the fact that they gotta get off to an earlier start. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's got to get to his spots like he's been doing the mid-range. Jalen Williams, he's got to be aggressive and setting the tone, putting together and getting together, galvanized together defensively and getting stops, and shut Indiana down and getting for them to get into their rhythm. I really feel like if they do that and they do more of those things, that'll be the big difference in what could be the case and what could be the overall outcome. So yeah, those would be my big previews. So tell me what you guys think. Who do you got? True Angel 33. Who you got in Game 7, and why? And also, people in the comment section, who do you got in Game 7 between the Pacers and the Thunder, and why? And who do you have as an X factor? So for me in Game 7, the X factor to me for both teams, one for the Pacers, I still believe is Benedict Mathurin and T.J. McConnell. Those two would be a huge factor. And then for the Thunder, I believe it's Chet Holmgren and Cason Wallace. I think those two had to be X factors in this game. For one of the big three for the Thunder to really come in and pull this game out and step through, they really gonna have to be on their P's and Q's and do their thing. So that's would be the thing I will look at if I was the OKC Thunder. And for the Pacers, continue to run your fast tempo offense. Continue to match score for score and create shots and move the ball like you did in this game, and have ball rotational movement and continue to flourish in the moment. And don't look back on this moment and don't look back on this game. Just continue to move forward and continue to push and drive, because eventually you're going to get to your destination and what you want. So that'd be the main thing I would look at if I was both teams. So overall, I really love what I saw from the Pacers, and I think they can build off of this momentum and continue to go forward. All right, so that'll be my recap for this game. But I wanted to do another movie review this time. But this time I'm going to do one for the live action of How to Train Your Dragon. I happened to see this last night in the movie theaters. And so this is directed by Dean DeBlois, and this stars Mason Thames as Hiccup, Nico Parker as Asher, Gerald Butler as Stoic, Julian Denson as Fish Lanes, Nick Frost as Gobert of Belch. The story basically is based upon on a rugged island of Berg, a Viking boy named Hiccup defies the centuries of tradition by befriending a dragon named Toothless. However, where an ancient threat emerges that endangers both species, Hiccup's friends with Toothless and becomes the key forging a new future. Together, they must navigate the delicate path towards peace, soaring beyond the boundaries of their worlds and redefining what it means to be the hero and the leader. Hiccup is going on his quest in the Isle of Burke, basically trying to go head to the Dragon's Nest, and he ends up going to the Trial of Flame. He ends up going into this tournament called the Trial of Flames, and ends up testing because his father Stoic is trying to bestow upon him that crown and that title of becoming the ex of the trial of that flame, man. And I really think that Mason Thames as Hiccup, and I really think that Nico Parker as Astrid, their chemistry throughout the movie, I felt was a bit way too off and way too off kilter. I thought the jokes and I thought certain jokes and certain comedic moments did not land, and that was mainly by Gobbert Belch, played by Nick Frost. I thought his comedy in the movie did not really all that particularly land. I really do like the way that some areas in live action and the visuals was really felt stoic. It really felt eventful and really felt brightful and colorful in moments. And as I was seeing this in 3D, I kind of felt that way. And I really do like the fact of the relationship between Hiccup and between Hiccup and his dragon Toothless and Night Fury. I really do like their relationship, but I really do feel like everything as far as the characterizations and the development wasn't really all the way there. I felt like there wasn't as much connection and on-screen chemistry, and I really felt like there wasn't really a whole big, like it was supposed to be a lot of family moments as I watched it in theaters. The father-son moment between Stoic the Vast and Hiccup. I didn't really think their chemistry really landed. The father-son moment was supposed to be a bonding moment. I really didn't feel all that chemistry. And to me, there were certain moments in this film that it would just reminded me so much of the animated films. The battle between and the Toothless and Night Fury and the rest of the dragons versus the main ones that they found in the Isle of Burke. And once they captured and went to the Dragon's Nest, I really felt like those moments didn't really land as much as I would have thought, and it felt kind of underwhelming and dry and plain. And another thing that I really wasn't a huge fan of, I really wasn't a huge fan of the second act and the ending, because it kind of felt like it was a moment where it was going to be bittersweet, where it felt like a few characters was going to die, but they didn't happen, and it was supposed to be like this climactic moment, this fallen action and climactic moment, and it didn't really happen the way it was supposed to happen, and I felt like it just didn't land like it was supposed to land. So those are the main things I didn't really care that much for. So yeah, my main positives, my main pros are the visuals are really outstanding. The visual effects, the camera work was really nice. And I do like the characterization between Mason Thames as Hiccup and Toothless Night Fury. I thought that was a really dope chemistry in that moment, and how Hiccup was actually trying to communicate with sign language with the dragons, and knowing that even though they've killed thousands of humans and thousands of people, and they took his mother away, they realized that they've killed thousands and thousands of dragons and thousands of their people on this island, and knowing that they had so much to gain and so much to live for, and that really just kind of put them in a moment where it just felt so enthralling. It felt so much of a remaining distance. My biggest cons are the storytelling I felt was weak. I felt the storytelling I felt was weak. I felt the rest of the characters, mainly the person who played Nick Frost, who played Gobbler, and the character who played Asterisk, and also Gerald Butler as Stoic, the Vast. I really thought the characters really didn't have as much on. It really didn't have as much on-screen chemistry with Hiccup. I really didn't think their chemistry really didn't feel like it landed to me. It didn't really feel like it worked all the way through, and it kind of just felt a bit so all over the place and cathartic. So those would be the thing I would say is a big con, is the lack of character development, the storytelling being very very plain and basic, and also the subplots and also the storytelling also kind of felt very much like the animated movies. It wasn't as original as it wasn't as original as I thought. So those would be the main things I would say is a big problem. Is the script writing, the character development, and also a very anticlimactic third act and overall ending. It felt very very dry and very mundane. So overall, my summary is How to Train Your Dragon, the live action version of 2025, is rather yet a really good, visually captivating and really good spectacle, and really showcases a lot of Hiccup, and really shows a lot of humans, how they would go into the Coliseum and tournaments and training and going against and trying to be dragon slayers and trying to train dragons as well. I really felt like the character development and the overall um, storytelling and subplots really bogged down and took away from what was going to be something that's a potential to be an absolute banger of a film, and it really took away from it being a classic. So I will go on and give this film 2.5 out of 4 stars, and I would give this 6.5 out of 10. Um, it has some good moments that you can probably watch. It's a movie that you can watch probably maybe one time, but I don't think you're gonna really remember it as much as you would have thought. So overall, that's it for my movie review for How to Train Your Dragon. So tell me what you guys think if you're going on to see it. If you're planning on going to see it, tell me why. And I got another movie review that I'm gonna be doing in about another hour and a half. So probably around maybe like around close to 2 o'clock. I'm probably gonna go or around 2 o'clock, or maybe a little bit later, probably around like 2:30. I'm probably gonna do the 28 Years Later movie review, and I have a lot of positivities, and you're gonna hear a lot of excitement from me about that movie. But we'll see when we get to that one later on. But again, tell me what you guys think about How to Train Your Dragon. Tell me guys what you think about the Pacers and the Thunder Game 6. And let me know down in the comment section what else you want me to talk about. I got more movie reviews coming. So yeah, I'm out of here. Thank you guys for watching, and peace out. I'll talk to you in the next one.